What is libertarianism? Where did the Libertarian Party come from? And where did their philosophy come from? The party came out of the real estate lobby in the 1950s. And they created this political party, the Libertarian Party, specifically to have a political rationalization, for deregulating the real estate industry, deregulating finance, deregulating insurance, real estate sales. They wanted to get rid of rent control. This was a big deal for them in the 1950s. It was it was sweeping America's big cities. So that's why the Libertarian Party was started. Its first serious major national figure as a candidate was David Koch, running for vice president in 1980 on a platform of ending Social Security, ending Medicare, ending Medicaid, ending all public schools, ending all federal support to hospitals, and ending public roads, turning all of our roads and streets into toll roads that are owned by billionaires, and basically ending all public services except for police and the military and the courts. That's it. So that's where the Libertarian Party came from. Now, where did the philosophy come from? The philosophy came from Ayn Rand. And Ayn Rand wrote a series of books. The one that Donald Trump said he loved is The Fountainhead. That's the story of a woman who gets raped and decides she likes it. But Atlas Shrugged is the more commonly quoted of her books. It's the one where these two spoiled brats, these two siblings, Dabney and I forget her brother's name, inherit a railroad from their father and then get all bent out of shape because the unionized workers in the railroad don't want to take a chance on experimenting with a new train that might be deadly. They want it to be tested and proven safe before they put passengers on it. And so anyway, that's the story. But where did Ayn Rand get her heroes from? She based them on a guy named Edward Hickman. Edward Hickman was a teenager in the 1920s who kidnapped a 12-year-old girl, cut her up into pieces, gave her sliced up body back to her father in exchange for a $1,200, which was a year's salary back then, a $1,200 payment, as it were, kidnapping ransom. And Ayn Rand fell in love with this guy. He got arrested ultimately. He killed this woman in Los Angeles, but he got arrested here in Oregon and got the noose. He was sent to the gallows. And Ayn Rand raged against that. He said, this is a man who's completely selfish. He believes totally in himself and nothing else. Hickman had said, I'm like the state. What's good for me is good for everybody. And so Ayn Rand explicitly, she writes about it in her journals, based her heroes on this child murderer, Edward Hickman. And, I think that's probably all we need to know. I mean, where did the sociopathy, the psychopathy, where did this come from? In the Republican Party, it came out of Ayn Rand. She was quite proud of it, in fact. And, for 42 years, we've had this libertarian experiment imposed on us ever since Ronald Reagan embraced libertarian ideas. He opened his first inaugural address on January 20th, 1981 by saying, government is not the solution to your problems. Government itself is the problem. That's libertarianism, and that's where it came from.